Good evening. Whoops. Take two. Good evening. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi. This live stream is being broadcast upon two platforms simultaneously. YouTube, for those who like to read along with the guided meditations, and Instagram, for those who may occasionally push the request button and ask me their questions face-to-face and in real time. If you have any questions you'd like to ask, type them or ask them right now, and I'll be happy to entertain them. Tonight we are going to explore the 12th lesson, wherein we play with meditations designed specifically to help us cultivate mindfulness of mind as well as release of mind. Of course, that seems sort of redundant, doesn't it? And it reminds me of the time I spent as a child in elementary school in the bathroom mirror, just pressing my nose against the mirror, using my eye to gaze at my eye through the reflection in the mirror. And of course, that also reminds me of a song by the English Beat, Mirror in the Bathroom, but I think they were singing about something else. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, say no more. So, if you find value in these live streams and podcasts and blog posts and class materials, numerous and free to download, please consider supporting this channel, either using the link on YouTube below the, the description of the video, or on Instagram by going to my bio, opening the link tree and clicking the appropriate shortcut. Enough of that, let's get to it. I'm now going to open up tonight's practice text. And as you gaze upon it, you can tell it is merely a Word document. Within about 7:15 or 7:30 tonight, the PDF of this will be available for free download from the website. The download page whose link could be found in the description area below the video. And of course, if you're on Instagram, just go to my bio, open up the link tree, and click the appropriate shortcut. The recommended reading for this lesson is the blog post, When Religion Opposes Science. I have so many blog posts that the easiest way to find this particular one is just to go to my downloads page, look up lesson 12, and click the appropriate link. As we gaze upon, so we've turned to page 212 in the practice text. And the heading reads, Mind. So let us put this in context. Buddha is not a proper noun, it is a title, a nickname, if you like, given to the monk Gautama, who is said to have lived approximately 25 centuries ago. He wasn't born to be a monk. He was born a prince of the Shakya clan. And as childhood gave way to adolescence and young adulthood, he explored every debaucherous pleasure the palace had to offer. Having failed to find satisfaction and pleasure, he sought satisfaction in the spiritual path, and he sought out leading teachers of his time who taught him the concentration style of meditation. The tale is told that he so mastered both systems of concentration and meditation that each of his teachers told him he completed the path and asked him to become their co-teacher. He thanked them, but said he still hadn't found what he was looking for, not unlike the U2 song. And so he continued on his way. He left the monastery and lived in the forest, sometimes in the company of 5 ascetics, sometimes by himself. And he practiced severe austerities to the point of death before finally realizing that just as there was no answers in reckless debauchery, there was also no answers in the opposite end of the spectrum, severe austerities. And so he sought to choose to practice a middle way. And in harmony with that, he looked back at the concentration style of meditation he was practicing and concluded that too was austere. Today we know through the use of functional MRIs that concentration not only compresses our perceptions, but stimulates our sympathetic nervous system, exacerbating our anxiety and our aggression, which is the opposite of the reasons why most people meditate. Most people want to minimize anxiety and aggression, not increase them. So the Buddha began practicing the opposite of concentration. Instead of compressing and controlling his perceptions, he relaxed. He practiced vulnerability, and passiveness, and acquiescence, and non-conceptuality, non-analysis. And it was as if the metaphoric doors of his senses swung wide open upon their hinges. Overwhelmed he was by all the sensory data, by sensations and flavors and scents and sights and sounds and emotions and attentions and cognitions and recollections and imaginings, that he found it helpful to organize his experience in 4 categories that he called bases, or patana. And those were body and feelings and mind and phenomena. Tonight we're going to explore mind. Now, in the past 2 nights, we explored coarser aspects of mind. The part of mind that is prone to self-loathing and the part of mind that seeks to flee self-loathing. Now we're just going to explore mind itself. So our primary practice tonight is the Buddha's techniques for releasing our minds. Now, this doesn't mean we become stupid. This doesn't mean we suppress our thought. It simply means we are not controlled by our mind. It's the difference between being torn apart by a hurricane or entering the relative safety of the eye of the storm, where we can observe the hurricane without being killed by it. Now, the Buddha was not big on affirmations or self-hypnosis or really believing hard, because believing is just a form of concentration and compression and control. He wasn't big on superstition or ritual. In fact, the Buddha taught that better to spend a single hour in meditation than an entire life in ritual. Lao Tzu said something quite similar when he communicated in the Tao Te Ching that ritual was the death of authentic spirituality. Well, now that we know what the Buddha did not do, the question remains, what did the Buddha teach? Contemplations, lowbrow, trenchant, pragmatic, and easy. His 3 most popular, or most frequently used, received the nickname of the 3 marks of existence, or tilakkhana in the ancient dialect of Northeast India known as Pali. The Buddha taught of 4 noble truths, and he taught of an 8-fold path. Tonight's teachings deal with right view, the first of the Buddha's, the first fold of the Eightfold Path, that you and I might call vipassana or contemplation. And yes, there is a cultish organization that claims to teach a style of Burmese contemplation, but it really is not what the Buddha taught. And many of these people have good hearts and really mean well, but they're still not practicing what the Buddha taught, and therefore they're not getting the results the Buddha offered. The Buddha said full enlightenment could be accomplished in 7 years, or 7 quarters, or 7 months, or 7 fortnights, or 7 weeks, or even 7 days, provided that we know his system. If someone knows thinks they know the Buddhist system and practices it for decade after decade after decade without accomplishing enlightenment, then the problem isn't their effort. The problem is the system they're using. So let's use stuff that works well. Now, don't take my word for it that this stuff works well. Test it in the metaphoric laboratory of your body and your mind. Not by asking if this stuff makes sense to you, but by experimenting with it for 5 minutes every morning and 5 minutes every evening for 7 consecutive days. That's how you really know if this stuff works. I turn the page in our digital practice text, or sadhana if you prefer Sanskrit. And so we shall begin by viewing our mind through the metaphoric lens of stress, also known as dukkha, if you prefer Pali. There is a mechanism in each of our brain stems, symbolized by my fist right here, that has an aversion to needless and frivolous and unproductive stress and strain. Why is that? For the majority of time on Earth, the majority of complex organisms live on the edge of starvation. They can't squander calories frivolously. When we use the following contemplation to explore our tendency to grasp onto our mind and our mind's experiences, there is part of our brain will recognize that that's a squanderous use of energy and could begin to loosen its grasp. On the left-hand side of the screen, in smaller font, we see the phrase in-breath, as well as the phrase out-breath. These serve as a type of contemplative notation. Now remember, we do not concentrate upon the Buddha's path, and although it is a popular teaching that the Buddha taught concentration upon the breath, that teaching is as popular as it is incorrect. But the Buddha did teach mindfulness. Tomato, what's the difference? A huge difference. Remember, concentration is about patriarchy. It's about rigidity. It's about control and aggression and fear. Whereas mindfulness is about matriarchy. It's about letting go and flowing and acquiescing and letting things come to us rather than us humanistically search for them. This is not pranayama of contemporary yoga, merely 4 or 5 centuries years old. 4 or 5 centuries old. Sorry, I threw an extra noun in there. The Buddha did not teach pranayama. He did not teach people to control the duration or depth of their breathing or the gaps between their breathing. He taught the opposite of that. Mindfulness, acquiescent, and vulnerable, and passive. So when we notice our bodies breathing in, we silently and mentally recite the rhetorical question, how grasp mine? And when we feel our bodies breathing out, we silently and mentally recite the word relaxing. So you've heard me use the phrase silently and mentally reciting, because each of us over the age of 3 has an inner monologue, an inner narrator, our own personal Rod Serling or Sigourney Weaver or James Earl Jones or Samuel L. Jackson or Lewis Black. So, and what we're doing, just as one might stand in front of a running blender, adding oat milk and fruit and perhaps some leafy greens to make a smoothie, we're going to add words to our mind to help it to take its steps forward. Excuse me. Got a sneeze coming any minute now. Oh, excuse me. Take its next steps forward upon the path of enlightenment. Now, these are not rhetorical. These are not literal questions, but rather rhetorical questions. And the power of a rhetorical question is not found in our efforts to answer it or solve it like some sort of a great metaphysical Rubik's Cube. Nope, not at all, not even a little bit. Au contraire, the power of a rhetorical question is found in our recitation of it, silent and mental and passive and acquiescent, and in harmony with our breathing. Now, on the out-breath, as we silently and mentally recite the word relaxing, we also choose our will or intend to physically relax as best we can. Why? Why would we do that? Because physical relaxation is a precursor to mental release. The two go hand in hand, like cereal and milk. Who eats cereal with water? That's just nasty. And of course, by milk, I mean nut milk or oat milk or seed milk or walnut milk. That's one of my favorites. But let's move on. You did not come here to hear my ravings about nut milk, which sounds like the punchline of an off-color joke, but I'm far too pure to think of such things. On the lower right-hand corner of the page, in smaller font, we see a bunch of words like a pile of autumn leaves. These, just as the words on the left served as a contemplative notation, the words on the right serve as a tabulatory notation, which is a fancy way to say we use these words to help us not lose track. Now, yes, we could use beads, but beads can be stolen or lost or broken, or in the age of fascism, confiscated. I'm so grateful that many years ago, an aging Bengali exposed me to a system of crease counting, which I shall share with you right now. And just as in a gym, we might count sets and reps, we're going to count sets on our left hand and repetitions on our right. Touch the tip of your left thumb to your left middle finger's tip. Just like that. Set both hands upon their respective thighs, palms up facing the ceiling. Head over shoulders, shoulders over tuchus, which is tushy, and feet flat upon the floor, assuming you're sitting in a chair. You may wish to slide your hands forward upon your thighs towards their respective knees. Find a position that's most comfortable and most sustainable. Slouching is not sustainable. Leaning back in your chair is a great way to take a nap, but not the best way to meditate. On our right hand, we're going to count the 3 sets of creases upon our right little finger, as well as its tip. For upon close examination, we could notice that each finger has a lower set of creases and a middle set of creases and a higher set of creases in addition to the tip. Therefore, it's quite easy to count to 4 on just one finger, or if you're a fan of multiplication, to count to 16 on 4 fingers, which is exactly what we're going to do right now. We're going to count to one set of 4 breaths upon our right little finger. How grasp mind? Relaxing. Remember, we don't try to answer. We just play with the words. Let them roll across the metaphoric tongue of your mind like a favorite beverage. How grasp mind? Relaxing. Ouch. Let us turn in our digital sadhana. And now that we've learned contemplative notation and tabulatory notation, we're really going to pick up speed. So hold on to your hats. Now we are going to view mind through the metaphoric lens of change, or anicca in Pali. One of the cool things about impermanence is that no faith is required. Impermanence is self-evident. You give a bowl of wet food to a hungry dog, and I guarantee you that bowl will not remain full very long. Every sunrise ends in a sunset. Every winter ends in a spring. Ever-changing, one and all, there is nothing permanent to grasp. We're going to work with a rhetorical question twice as long as the last one. It's so long that we're going to karate chop this rhetorical question in half, silently and mentally reciting the first half during the in-breath and the second half during the out-breath. How could mind always change? Come, let us count upon the 3 sets of creases of our right ring finger and its tip. We turn the page of our digital sadhana to our third of 4 contemplations. We have a jumbo rhetorical question that it helps us to view our mind through the lens of a very misunderstood technique known as anatta in Pali, literally translated as not self. Many good-hearted folks have squandered lifetimes jumping down the metaphoric rabbit holes of needless philosophical inquiry. Our job is not to write a treatise on the nature of mind, self, or existence. No. Our job is to use this ridiculous question, how could mind not be me, simply as a tool to disrupt our habit of defining ourselves by our minds, by our perceptions, by our emotions or intentions or thoughts or memories or fantasies. This question could help us to disrupt that habit of defining ourselves by our minds the same way we could disrupt music by dragging a phonograph needle across a record album. Come, let us count upon the 3 sets of creases and tip of our right middle finger. How could mind not be me? we come to our fourth and final wisdom contemplation of the live stream, which we will count upon the 3 sets of creases and tip of our right index finger. Notice mind relaxing. In the span of 4 exercises, we have gone from clutching or grasping mind to merely noticing mind. And this could be a taste of the liberation that the Buddhist techniques offer us. Liberation not from the presence of thoughts, but from their tyranny. Well, we've done 4 repetitions of 4 contemplations. If our mind was a dog, my friends, it would be panting. So let's give our mind a rest. Not with more contemplations, but with meditation, which is different. With contemplation, we've been with contemplations, we've been working with a theme. With meditation, we substitute the word mind with the pronoun this. And this, as you already know, is deliciously vague. It refers to anything we experience, be it external or internal, be it pleasurable or painful, be it glorious or be it grotesque. It refers to anything we could experience as sensation or flavor or scent or sound or smell, an emotion or intention or thought or memory or imagining. Anything we are capable of perceiving is now this, at least for the next 16 breaths. So let's touch the tip of our left thumb to our left index finger's tip and begin counting upon our right little finger. Notice this, relaxing. Let us continue upon our right ring finger. Notice this, relaxing. This is the essence of Chan and Zen and Mahamudra and Mahasandhi and Ati Yoga and Dzogchen and Trekcho. Notice this, relaxing. This is that which Dudjom Rinpoche, a great Tibetan sage, referred to as enlightenment without concentration. Notice this, relaxing. Let us count upon our right middle finger. Let us conclude with our right index finger. This concludes the guided meditation portion of tonight's live stream. I would now like to read to you from the addendum. Whoops. There we go. Tonight, let's explore 4 levels of practice. The first level would be browsers. Folks who come to class, but do no homework and see no transformation. The next level would be those I call students. Folks who come to class and do their homework every morning and every evening. These guys evolve. Some students choose to become yogis. They perform one-day retreats once every quarter, or once every month, and some even once every week, practicing 4 times a day. For instance, 6 a.m., 10 a.m., 2 p.m., and then 6 p.m. Oh, my nose really wants to sneeze. This is making me a little nutty. The 4th level are those I call monastics, from the liberal perspective. And those are simply students who live as if on permanent retreat, practicing 4 times a day, every day. 6 a.m., 10 a.m., 2 p.m., and 6 p.m., for instance. 20 minutes of formal silent meditation are ideal for first level students, those who are seeking a type of a life lubricant. 40 minutes of formal silent meditation are ideal for second level students, those who desire a profound evolution, such as healing PTSD, overcoming a tragic past, or transcending a disempowering and oft-repeated pattern. However, 60 minutes of formal silent meditation is ideal for third-level students, those who yearn to rapidly master enlightenment's blissful mindfulness, peaceful insight, and spontaneous compassion. That, my friends, is today's lesson. In about 15-30 minutes, it'll be available for download as PDF. And if you're using this, if you wish to download these PDFs, remember, they've been formatted to be read upon your smartphone, preferably in the horizontal position. But you can lose your mind trying to navigate a PDF. So please download the free Kindle app, which makes navigating and bookmarking a breeze. My friends, I thank you for your time and your kind attention. As questions occur to you during your practice, jot them down and submit them to me, either during tomorrow's live stream on YouTube or as a direct message on Instagram. And I'll do my best to answer you either in a live stream or in a blog post. Until then, may you and yours be happy and healthy.